Lunch hour at Hamilton High School. A jumble of sounds echoed through the cafeteria, drenched in white fluorescent light, trays clanging, laughter, and the mix of pizza smell with that of new plastic. The camera glided over groups of students huddled together, then stopped at a corner, where Jayden Carter, a thin black student, quietly opened his old laptop, its cracked screen held together with clear tape. From the other side, Chad Williams, captain of the football team and the principal's son, walked over. A smirk flickered across his face just before his shoulders slammed into Jayden's. The lunch tray crashed to the floor, sauce splattering onto Chad's shoes. The whole room went silent for a heartbeat. Chad looked down, his eyes sharp as glass, and then, smack! The slap split the air open. Jayden stumbled, his glasses flying off and sliding across the tile floor. A few seconds of dead silence. Then laughter burst out from a nearby table, phones raised, camera lights flashing. Chad sneered, drawing not every word. "Watch where you walk, boy." From the floor, Jayden slowly lifted his head. He said nothing, he just picked up his glasses, brushed the dust away, and spoke, his voice calm, deeper than expected. "My dad taught me that cameras can see everything, even when people pretend not to." For a moment, something flickered across Chad's face, his grin faltered, his eyes wavered. But the cheers from his friends pulled him back, mocking and taunting. The camera panned back to Jayden. He sat down again, quietly opening his battered laptop. The pale blue light reflected across his face, steady eyes, silent but burning, as if holding something far greater than humiliation. The narrator's voice rose, slow and heavy with meaning. They laughed because they thought they had proven who was stronger. But what they did not know was that, in that very moment, they had just awakened the mind of a genius. Jayden Carter lived with his mother in a small apartment in the southern district of the city, where every night, the sound of car horns and the smell of diesel blended into the steady rhythm of working lives. His room barely fit a bed and an old wooden desk. On it sat his cracked laptop, his most precious possession, glowing late into the night. His father, Marcus Carter, had once been an aerospace engineer, a name of pride within the black community. But after daring to expose corruption inside the corporation he worked for, he was fired, discredited, and practically erased from the list of people allowed to succeed. The Carter family became known as the whistleblowers family. Neighbors avoided them, friends drifted away. From then on, Jayden learned how to stay quiet and observe. Across the city, Chad Williams grew up in a house lined with awards and trophies belonging to his father, Principal Richard Williams, the symbol of a distinguished lineage. At Hamilton High, people said that if your last name was Williams, every door opened for you. Chad was favored by teachers and feared by classmates. Jayden, with his dark skin, humble background, and worn-out laptop, was nothing but a small scratch on the school's perfect wall. A school where discrimination was never written down, but it lived in every glance, every laugh. Jayden loved technology. He could take apart a phone, fix a circuit board, and rewrite software with just a few lines of code. Sometimes he helped classmates recover lost data in exchange for a single lunch meal. No one knew that behind those thick glasses and quiet demeanor was a mind learning to read the world as lines of data. And that very ability, the thing they called strange, would soon become Jayden Carter's silent weapon. After that slap in the cafeteria, Jayden said nothing more. He simply closed his laptop and walked out under the weight of dozens of mocking stares. No one knew that later that night, the blue glow from Jayden's old computer never went out. Inside, lines of code streamed endlessly. Jayden was hacking into Hamilton High's security camera system, the one he had once helped the IT technician repair. So he still remembered the password. On the screen appeared a series of clips from that fateful lunch break. But when Chad raised his hand, the footage suddenly cut out. A file had been manually deleted. Jayden leaned back in his chair, silent for a few seconds. Then he began to type, line after line of code, his private language with his father. Within minutes, he had installed a hidden program into the system, one that automatically backed up every camera recording onto a private cloud he built himself. The next day, in class, a few students whispered, "Hey, robot boy, you think that old computer can turn you into a hacker?" Jayden did not answer. He just smiled faintly, jotting down notes, his eyes calm but bright, like the reflection of his glowing screen. In his mind, his father's voice echoed, steady, certain, like a line of code engraved deep inside his memory. Injustice is just data waiting to be organized. From that moment, Jayden Carter was no longer the boy humiliated in the cafeteria. He had begun his counterattack, not with fists, but with intellect, with data. And that was only the beginning. Since the incident in the cafeteria, Chad did not stop. In fact, he and his friends seemed to make tormenting Jayden their daily entertainment. They spray-painted his locker with the words, "System error," and drew a distorted black face beside it. One day, someone spilled soda over Jayden's laptop keyboard, destroying it. Chad just shrugged and sneered. Maybe he should learn to fix himself before fixing anyone else's computer. Mocking memes about Jayden spread all over the school's social media. He became a joke, the glitch boy. Coach Miller, the PE teacher, saw everything but only whispered, "Jayden, just stay away from them. I don't want any trouble, he's the principal's son." Jayden only nodded. But in his eyes, something had changed, not fear, but calculation. That night, in his small room, Jayden removed the badge of the tech club from his jacket. Inside it was a tiny camera he had built himself from spare parts. He put it back on, staring into the mirror, tired eyes, but steady, unbroken. From the next day on, every action, every word, every look of disdain at school was recorded. He even wrote a facial recognition program that tagged each person as bully, involved, or silent witness. Jayden's AI quietly worked in the background, storing every piece of evidence in his private cloud without anyone knowing. The film cuts through quick, cold frames, blurry, fragmented, but real. Jayden being shoved in the hallway. A crude drawing falling from his locker. Coach Miller turning away. Everything captured, every second, every face. Then came the day Chad cornered Jayden in the bathroom. Jayden fell to the cold tile floor, his phone shattering beside him. Chad leaned down, grabbing Jayden's collar, his voice low and threatening. "Still want to look at me like that, hacker boy?" Jayden did not fight back. He just looked straight into Chad's eyes and said softly, evenly, like reading a line of code, "One day, truth will have your name on it, Chad." No one knew that the badge on his jacket was recording everything, even Chad's angry breathing. Saved as data. That night, Jayden sent all the footage, audio, and images to his father. Marcus Carter watched it in silence for a long time. Then he said just one sentence, "Don't fight them with anger, son, fight them with proof." Those words became a command. Jayden began compiling all the data he had collected, hundreds of images, videos, chat logs, and recordings. He organized them by timeline, writing AI code to automatically detect signs of racial discrimination in words, in glances, even in tone of voice. On his old laptop screen, faces appeared one by one, not only Chad, but every student who had laughed, filmed, or turned away. Jayden stared at them for a long time. Then he opened a new file and typed the name, Equal Eyes, Prototype 0.1. The narrator's voice returned, steady and deliberate. He was no longer a victim. He had become a witness and the one rewriting the entire game. Monday morning, the Hamilton High Auditorium gleamed with flags and decorations. Today was Hamilton Pride Day, the school's big event to celebrate its traditional values. Chad sat in the front row, suit pressed, smile confident. His father, Principal Richard Williams, took the stage, his booming voice echoing through the hall. At the back of the room, Jayden quietly walked in, his old laptop in hand, the blue light glowing faintly across his face. No one noticed until the lights went out. On the giant screen behind the stage, white text appeared. Behind the walls of Hamilton High, Murmurs rippled through the audience. Then the first video played, scenes of bullying, humiliation, graffiti, insults, and mocking eyes. Each face, each act, revealed in crystal clarity, undeniable. Then came Jayden's voice, steady and deep, echoing through the speakers, not angry, but heavy with truth. For years, some of us have learned to walk faster, speak softer, and hide deeper, just to be seen as equal. The footage shifted, the cafeteria scene. The slap. The voice. Watch where you walk, boy. No cuts this time. The entire truth, raw and unfiltered, filled the room. Some teachers began to cry. Coach Miller bowed his head, tears dropping onto his hands. Principal Williams stood frozen, pale, the reflection of the screen trembling in his eyes. Jayden walked slowly to the stage. No music, no effects, just him, small, but shining bright in the darkness of the system. He spoke calmly, almost gently. This isn't about revenge. It's about recognition. We bleed the same, but some of us are taught to look away. The room was completely silent. He opened his laptop, projecting the interface of a new program, simple, clear, equal eyes, an AI for justice. Jayden spoke firmly. This is the software I created to identify and store evidence of bullying and discrimination. And I will make it free for every school, so no one will ever have to be afraid to tell the truth again. The first applause came from a row of black teachers, then it spread. Louder, fuller, until the entire hall erupted. Chad lowered his head, hands trembling. His father, Principal Williams, said nothing. He simply walked off the stage, moments before the school board announced an official investigation. The next day, posters went up across the campus. Chad Williams suspended indefinitely. Principal Richard Williams resigns. Jayden said little. He just quietly packed his laptop and folded the jacket with the badge that made history. Outside, the sky over Hamilton shone brighter than ever. The narrator's voice returned one last time, calm but powerful. The boy they mocked had made the whole system bow, not with strength but with truth. 3 months after that day, Hamilton High had completely changed. The old rule boards were taken down and replaced with new anti-bullying policies, transparent, fair, and free from racial bias. Every hallway now had cameras linked to the Equal Eye system, built by Jayden himself. He was named Young Innovator of the Year and appeared on local television. His project quickly spread to over 40 schools across the state, becoming the symbol of a new generation, one that believed justice could begin with lines of code. In his final interview, the host asked, "Did you ever want revenge?" Jayden smiled softly, his eyes kind but unwavering. "I didn't want to destroy anyone. I just wanted them to see." He stood in the middle of the schoolyard as the wind lifted his jacket, sunlight gleaming across his face. Because justice is not loud, it's patient. If you believe that one boy can change an entire system, share this story. Because justice does not come on its own. It begins with those who dare to speak.